This is the story of David and Goliath, a tale of faith and courage that still inspires us today. Have you ever faced a challenge so immense it seemed insurmountable? This is the story of how a boy defeated a giant, and it all started in the valley of Elah. Picture this: two armies locked in a standoff. On one side, the Israelites, trembling in fear. On the other side, the Philistines, taunting their opponents. And then there was Goliath, a giant of a man, standing over 9 feet tall, clad in bronze armor that glistened under the desert sun. His spear was as thick as a weaver's beam, and just the sight of him made hearts sink. For 40 days he came forward to mock the Israelites and their God, challenging anyone brave enough to face him in single combat. But no one dared. Enter David. At the time, he was merely a shepherd boy. The youngest of 8 brothers, David had been sent to the battlefield by his father Jesse, not to fight, but to bring food to his older brothers. As David arrived, his ears caught the booming voice of Goliath. He listened to the Philistines' blasphemous words and saw the fear in the eyes of Israel's soldiers. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? David asked. The soldiers scoffed at him, for he was just a boy. But those who heard his bold words reported them to King Saul. Saul summoned David, expecting to scold the boy, but David shocked the king. "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine," he said. "Your servant will go and fight him." Can you imagine? A shepherd boy standing before a king, volunteering to fight a seasoned giant. Saul looked at David and said, "You are not able to go against this Philistine. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." But David was undeterred. "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep," David explained. "When a lion or a bear came and took a sheep from the flock, I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep. If I could face those beasts, how much more this Philistine who defies God?" Saul was moved by David's audacity and finally said, "Go, and the Lord be with you." But first, Saul offered David his own armor, a bronze helmet, a coat of mail, and a sword. David tried them on, but they were too heavy, too cumbersome. "I cannot go in these," David said. So he took them off. Instead, he equipped himself with what he knew: his staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones from a nearby brook. With his heart pounding and his faith strong, David approached Goliath. The giant sneered when he saw the boy. "Am I a dog that you come to me with sticks?" Goliath roared, cursing David and his God. But David stood firm. "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied," David shouted back. Imagine the tension in the air. The Philistines laughed, confident of their champion's victory. The Israelites held their breath, doubting this boy could do anything but get himself killed. But then, it happened. David took a stone, placed it in his sling, and began to whirl it around. The stone flew through the air with incredible speed and found its mark: Goliath's forehead. The giant stumbled, then fell face down to the ground. Silence fell over the valley. The Philistines were stunned. Their champion, the unbeatable Goliath, was dead. David ran forward, and with Goliath's own sword, he finished the job, sealing the victory for the Israelites. The Philistine army fled in terror, and the Israelites rejoiced. David, the shepherd boy, had become a hero. But this story isn't just about defeating a giant. It's about faith. David didn't defeat Goliath with strength or weapons. He defeated him with trust in God. He faced his fear, not because he believed in himself, but because he believed in the power of his God. And that's the message here. No matter how big the obstacles in front of you may seem, faith can move mountains, or in this case, giants. David's story reminds us to trust in God, to take bold steps even when they seem impossible, and to remember that with faith, All things are possible. So when you face your own giants, pause and ask yourself, are you trusting in your own strength, or are you leaning on the strength of the Almighty? Because the God who stood with David in the valley of Elah is the same God who stands with you today. And one more thing. This victory wasn't the end of David's journey. It was just the beginning. The boy who defeated Goliath would grow to become King David, a man after God's own heart. His story is one of triumphs and failures, but this moment in the valley defined his faith and his destiny. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, remember David's words, "The battle is the Lord's." Don't let doubts, fears, or the opinions of others hold you back. Step forward in faith and face your giants, because with God on your side, victory is already yours.